Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. For the first time, I've headed east and I'm hiking into the Ruby Mountains. And this is in Nevada, and it's about 5 hours from Reno, and it's about 4.5 hours from Salt Lake City. So this is as far east as I've gone. I lived in California my whole life, up until 5 years ago when I moved to Reno. And I mostly just went north and south with a little bit of east and west. But this is the first time I've driven out this far, and I'm excited to check this area out. I made the decision to come here probably about 24 hours ago. And luckily there's a lot of information online about coming here. There's a bunch of different sites that have details, and I was able to figure it out, and it looks pretty straightforward. So I'm going to be hiking a little over 4 miles to Liberty Lake. And that would put me right in between Liberty Lake, Lemuel Lake, and Favre Lake. Favre is spelled like Brett Favre from the Green Bay Packers back in the day. So I think that's right. Lemuel Lake, I'm not sure if it's Lemuel. It's Lamoille. But those three lakes are really close to each other, and I'm hoping to spend 2 nights up here and get to fish all three. So let's start hiking. It's already 11 o'clock in the morning. It was a long drive. I stopped to sleep for 20 minutes when I was getting a little drowsy because I got up at 4 this morning. But it's time to hike now, and let's see what this has in store for us. And these are some cool looking mountains, man. And it's not what I'm used to in the Sierra Nevada, that's for sure. Or the lower Cascades. It's a long drive out here, but it's like 75 to 80 mile per hour speed limits. There's barely any cars on the road. I did notice the no hitchhiking, this is a prison area signs on the freeway. Do you really need a sign that says don't pick up hitchhikers on Highway 80 in the middle of nowhere? I think if you pick up a hitchhiker and something bad happens, I think that's on you. So this is pretty high. I think I'm starting at like 8,000 or 9,000 feet. I'm not really sure. I know that the high point of this hike is 10,500 feet before you drop down over the pass. I mean, you can see there's only one way to go, and that's up. From the brief time I spent reading about this place, I don't think bears are really a thing up here. I got my bear canister. I don't want anything in my food, not even squirrels and stuff. I don't want to get some kind of weird medieval hantavirus plague from one of those things. And one thing I forgot to mention, I don't think you need a wilderness permit to come into here. But like with everything I say, you always, whether it's fishing or camping regulations, you always want to check that stuff for yourself. You don't want to get that information off some guy on YouTube or Instagram or something. Cool little creek with some nice colors. That's totally Thanksgiving colors right there. I'm ready for some turkey and some pumpkin pie. Man, some of those dwellings you pass that are off in the distance off the 80, once you get way out there, that have a bunch of abandoned cars around them, those are the kind of places where if I was having a heart attack on the side of the road, I don't think I'm knocking on that door. Next thing you know, they're fashioning a new shirt out of my skin. This right here looks like it would be an interesting crossing right after the snow melts and this thing is just raging whitewater. I don't know. I'm glad it's like this now and it's September. So right off the start, I mean, there's going to be a lot of uphill. You saw what it looked like from the trailhead, but the trails are really well defined. I just stopped to take a break. Here's a cool little glimpse. That killer reddish brown. And then that's when we get up into the mountains. Apparently horses use this trail. This would be a lot easier on a horse, I'm sure. Whew. Look at that. That is awesome. Look at that little dude. You're not fooling me, dude. You're just a rat with a fancy tail and a couple of stripes on your coat. You look better, but you're roughly the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Man, this is grueling. Should have packed one of those portable defibrillators just in case. Do a quick trail side jump start on me if things go south. Trail's been relatively smooth with a couple creek crossings that had bridges, some didn't, but this rocky stuff here is the first sign that it's gonna get rough. So if you got bad knees, bad ankles, you're gonna want to keep that in mind. There's an awesome view of Lemuel Canyon. That's the road you drive up to, and the trailhead's at the end. That's awesome, man. Look at that. This right here is a good example of why you don't want to cut switchbacks. Trail goes up around there, but people have cut this to try to shorten it a little bit. It just leaves that ugly big scar. Once you get up that first, I don't know, mile and a half of just straight uphill, I hate this nice little flat area. And the breeze is blowing. It's feeling nice. By how dead everything is, it looks like I missed the real good fall colors by a little bit. It's already September 10th. I think the heyday of the fall colors appears probably early September, but I don't know. I've never been here. I've never been within hundreds of miles of this place. It feels kind of soon, but I think this is Dollar Lake, or one of the Dollar Lakes. So I don't know how true it is, but I read that these are called the Ruby Mountains because someone back in the day thought they had found a bunch of rubies, but I guess they were garnets, but they just stuck with Ruby Mountains anyway. Who discovered this place? Me? That's something I would do on my limited research. Looks like rubies to me. I'm calling it Ruby Mountains. But Ruby Mountains has a much better ring to it than Garnet Mountains, so I think it was a good style choice. So it seems a little soon, but I think this might be the Dollar Lakes, which are just like little ponds, really. That's a cool view, huh? That's cool. I've not seen any mosquitoes yet, but that looks like mosquito heaven down there. Hate to be down there around sunset. I don't have any bug stuff on because the bugs haven't been bad. Seeing that's making me reconsider. And I think this is the largest and uppermost of those Dollar Lakes. It's pretty cool. Man, some girl just came by. She was trail running and she was hauling down this trail. I've been enjoying a lot of flat after that first initial up. I think the pass is coming up though. So whatever rest I'm gonna get while I'm hiking needs to happen right now and really fast. So I just passed the 2-mile mark. There's a sign back there. Some young ladies are hiking up with their dogs. So here's Lemuel or Lemuel Lake, about 2 miles in. Probably gonna fish this for Wilderness with the Monty Patreon on the way out. Lake has a really cool green color to it. I love that. You can see there's tons of people cut the switchbacks here, which is a drag because it just makes so many trails. And in my experience, just stick with the switchbacks. It's an easier hike. Here's like another view of Lemuel Lake. Lemuel sounds like the beginning of Laverne and Shirley, those you're old enough to know. I really got to focus on the trail, man. I keep looking at the beautiful lake down there, and I almost tripped. I don't want to trip and fall down that. That is a helicopter ride out of here, probably. Helicopter ride into my budget. It's just a really cool looking trail in general. And it reminds you a lot of the Eastern Sierra, but it's definitely different. You can see a peak of Lamoille Lake down below. I just don't know how it's pronounced. I was reading about it last night, man. I don't know. That is some rugged country, boy. This is cool rock. How looks like it was laid down layer by layer. That's awesome, man. Totally stratified. Man, here's some more of that rock. You see how it's dark brown there and then it gets light. You just think about the geologic processes that form that. That's amazing looking. Really cool piece of rock to look at. Man, I'm digging it. Look at the wild dog in his natural habitat. Some people that are hiking down there, they got some dogs. That's a cool dog though, man. Looks like a giant Basenji, but it's not. It's a mix of two other things that makes it look like a giant Basenji. Trail gets really rocky and rugged with a steep drop off once you get up towards this pass. So watch your step. I'm pretty much just looking at the ground right now. I don't need any mishaps. I could imagine going up this on a horse, man. That's that cool dog. I love dogs. One of the things I love about coming out and hiking and fishing is I get to play with people's dogs. Personally, I don't have a dog. I need to prove that I can keep a plant alive for a long period of time before I move up to a dog. Maybe first get a fish, a goldfish. Man, I stopped to throw a layer on it. That killer, jagged, rocky area up there. And then the trail cuts right up and snakes up through the pass. And then you can see off in the distance, there's the three ladies with their dogs. They passed me when I stopped to layer up. They seem to be tough enough to handle the cool breeze on this pass. I am not. As I pointed out, there's a lot of steep drop, thin trail. Look at that cool. Look at that lake. Lamoille Lake. It's awesome. It's windy up here, boy. This pass is blowing. It is not warm. Look at how resilient life is, man. That thing's just scratching out an existence out of that little crack. And it's, I don't know if it's thriving, but it's alive. Wow, what a stunning view, that green Lamoille Lake. That is unbelievable. And there's the parking lot way down there. Those cars look like, it looks like a little train set. You know, when you have the little figures on it. And then the canyon. What an amazing area. And getting up there, top of the pass is right up there, and I think that's where I dropped down into Liberty Lake. You can see this trail's rugged up here, man. You really want to watch your step. You do not want to go down on this stuff. Skin knee, that's the best you could hope for if you go down hard with a heavy pack. Forecasted 0 chance of rain, so that doesn't look great. I always throw my poncho in my pack, but I got way better rain gear. I didn't bring it because I didn't think I was gonna need it. And I got enough extra clothes to handle that if something freak happens. I mean, it is the mountains. You never know when you're dealing with the mountains. It could say 0% chance of precipitation. I've been caught in whiteout conditions when there was a slight chance of snow showers before at 11,000 feet. This is about as rugged of a pass as I've ever traveled through. It is rocky. It's really cool looking though. Nature has its own cool beauty you know, in the different forms, whether you're in the desert or you're in the alpine forest or an open rocky pass like this. It's all got its appeal, man, and the appeal is strong. These tight switchbacks that go up and around through this pass are gnarly, man. One thing's for sure, I'm gonna sleep like an exhausted baby tonight. To the top of Liberty Pass, elevation 10,450 feet. That's up here. And cool. We're entering the Ruby Mountain Wilderness. It's another wilderness area we got on Wilderness with Amani YouTube. And I like it. More wilderness areas. And that is a forgotten sign. Someone needs to bust out some sandpaper or something. some varnish or some wood engraver. So I now have, let's see, the Molokalumni Wilderness, the Ruby Mountains Wilderness, Thousand Lakes Wilderness, Ansel Adams Wilderness, Golden Trout Wilderness, John Muir Wilderness, Desolation Wilderness. That's 7 wilderness areas I can say off the top of my head. I probably have more than that. There's probably at least 1 or 2 I'm forgetting. But that's cool. We're getting around in the Wilderness with Amani universe. I can see our destination through the trees. Liberty Lake. I like the name of the lake because I'm a huge fan of freedom and liberty. Ooh, look at that. This looks amazing. Absolutely fantastic. And I read that this lake is like 100 feet deep at its deepest point. But that looks like some real easy fly casting all the way around. I really haven't seen anywhere to camp yet. That's cool. They hiked up with llamas. That's one way to get your stuff up here. Via llama. I'd like to go pet it, but I don't know if they bite. I know horses do. Look how little their heads are. That's a weird looking animal. This is a really nice flat spot, but it's so close to the water, man. I don't want to be that close to the water because when people try to fish and stuff and you camp that close to the water, you're all up in their stuff. So I think I'm going to see if I can find something up here. This is more like it. If I camped at that spot down there, it's really level, but it's so close to the lake, man. It's supposed to be 100 feet from water when you're camping. And I'm not going to claim I'm always 100 feet from water, but I at least try. Yeah, it looks like you can have fires up here. Although, I won't be having anything like that. This looks like a really good place for my tent right there. That's a nice grill for backcountry cooking. So when you're cooking trout and stuff, just lay that thing right across that fire ring. It's good to go. But they built a nice fire ring here. If you're gonna have a fire, it's the way to do it. So that's gonna wrap up my hike to Liberty Lake on my first voyage into the Ruby Mountain Wilderness. It's a really beautiful wilderness area, and I'm so glad I came here. People have been telling me to come here for the last 3 years. Really, since I first moved to Reno 5 years ago. Everybody's like, you gotta go to the Ruby Mountains, man. Well, I went, and I'm there, and I dig it, and it's beautiful. And I'm excited that I'm gonna spend the next 2 days here fishing, exploring for Wilderness with Amani on YouTube and for Wilderness with Amani on Patreon. So I hope you enjoyed this hike into the Ruby Mountain Wilderness to Liberty Lake. Until next time.